which is, in fact, I can go ahead and cross that off. Number 3 is place this edge to the table saw, then set the fence at 3 inches in rip. So we're still on this same board. What we're doing is we're going to reset the fence, this time to 3 inches. You're going to see that 3 inches is a pretty common number for me. I use that a lot. This one, I'm definitely going to use that guy. So this is what we end up with for waist. That's got to be less than 1/4 of an inch. And there's our 3-inch board. And we've even almost like we got a little round over there. That's as close as you're ever going to get. And again, I took that into consideration when I did the calcs on this thing. We're using that cutoff. So set the miter saw to 90 degrees. And then in fact, I'm going to make a note on this while I'm at it. This is why sometimes I'll use a paper version. Number one, it's good to be able to check them off if you're done. But when I'm doing the prototypes, I like to be able, if I find something I want to add or change, then I can just go ahead and make notes. I'll take those inside and change them for the actual final version. Okay, now it says, number 4, using board from number 3. Now set the miter saw at 90 degrees, which it is, then cut here. This will create 2 boards, 3 inches by 11 inches each, minus the kerf. Now we're going to lose the kerf on this one again because it's a 22-inch board. And I could have made it like 22 1/8, but then we'd have more waste and it gets kind of complicated. And some of these things, it's close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. So 11 inch, but I'm going to put my blade right on the line. So I'm going to lose part of the half of the kerf on one side, half the kerf on the other. And if you notice later, you're going to see this, that we're going to start using this board to make some diagonal cuts. And yes, I could have left it as one board, made a 30 degree, made a 30 degree, and made a 30 degree, one less cut. But it's really difficult to measure boards once they've had a 30 degree cut on them. There's no place to put the tape measure. So I just thought, for simplicity, I'm going to make these 2 11-inch boards. Then we're going to cut our miters on each of those. Let's go ahead and I'll do that. Okay, right now we're on number 5, and I could say use the board from number blah, 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 but now hopefully we know where we're at. So set the miter saw blade to 30 degrees right, which would mean we're going to turn it right like this. So this is 30 degrees. And again, be careful because there is a detent, which is the automatic stop at 31.5 or something like that, 31.6. That doesn't have anything to do with this. That has to do with making crown molding. So you have to manually put it on 30 and then manually lock her down, okay? And some saws hold really well. This one holds really, really well. Some saws slip a little bit, so be careful. And again, it's garbage in, garbage out. If you cut a good 30, everything's gonna match up. If you cut an off 30, it's not gonna match up. So what it's doing is it's saying here on the instructions then to use, set it to 30, but then use corner number 5A. And if you look closely at the sheets, you're going to see there's a corner 5A here. It's hard to see on the black and white printout. You'll see it much better on the screen colored. And then there's a 6A and a 7A and an 8A. So each one of those 4 corners I've just labeled. And then every one of these instructions from this point forward, and I'm just going to go through all 4 of them right away in fast motion. But again, I'm going to cut from one board, I'm going to cut a 30. And then I'm going to cut a 30. So this one here, I'm using the corner. I'm not marking anything. I'm just using the actual corner. That's where I'm going to put my light. If you have a laser, you can use a laser, right? Then on this one, I want these 2 to be parallel. These 2 have to be parallel. So I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use this one. And then by putting my light right here on that corner, then I'm going to have a 30 there. Then I'm going to grab the next piece, do the same thing, and now we have exactly what we want. Again, I'm going to put it into fast motion for doing all that. The only other thing just remember, now we're talking like a smaller chuck chunk that can fall off. So this is where you want to have safety gear. Be careful where that thing's going to go. So this first one I'll go ahead and show you, but you can see I'm putting my laser right on that corner, and that's where it's going to go. I could fool with you and tell you this is what we're looking for, but obviously those are not. Those are going to go to well, eventually kindling. But what I did end up with was 2 pieces diagonal. These are going to be our risers that are going to go like that. Now later on you might see me, I didn't do this for the drawings, but you might see me snip off a bit here, but don't do that now because otherwise some of the jigs that we're going to use later aren't going to fit. So just stick with this for right now.